Hello and welcome back to the Knitting Page channel. If you're new here, my name's Paige and I am the face behind the Knitting Page. Okay, so today I have a regular podcast episode for you where today I'm going to talk all about my whips, and this is not a frog it or finish video. I recorded that last time, so if you want to check that out, you can check it out here. Thank you for all of those, English. Thank you to all of those. No, that's also not right. Thank you to everyone that gave me some feedback on what to keep, what to frog. You'll see that I brought one of my whips back into rotation. In today's podcast episode, I did frog that pink pair of socks. I may frog the pressed flowers socks. I'm kind of waiting to see how I feel about them because I have a lot of projects on the go. I would like to get back down to having 2 or 3, but right now I have 5 whips that I have more or less actively been working on for the past month. And because I have 5 whips that I've actively been working on for the past month, I don't actually have any finished objects, which is totally okay. Part of me sometimes feels like I have to have a finished object in order to sit and record, and I don't think that that is necessarily the case. And so today I'm sitting down and I'm going to talk about my whips. Some of them are like close-ish to being done, and so hopefully the next time I sit down and record, they will be done. Others have a little bit to go, but I've just kind of been working on some of them. You'll see some of these are like long-term projects in terms of their size and just in terms of their time here on the channel, and just in general, I haven't really committed to finishing them, but I wanted to sit down and record today because it has been a minute, and yeah, so here I am, and we're gonna get right into it talking about my whips. I do have a small acquisition that will go with one of my whips that I'm really excited to talk about, but for the most part, a lot of these whips, that's a lie. 3 of the whips have been long-standing projects that you may or may not have seen before on the channel. 2 of them are new. One of them is a sponsored project from Hobby. But yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so the first one I want to talk about is my Aoide. I don't know exactly. But this is a sweater by Sari Nordland. As you can see, it's an all over textured cable sweater. You have these beautiful cables cascading down the front of the sweater with, I believe it's called double seed stitch, that is on like the shoulders and the side seams under the sleeves. This is a project that has been on my, this project has been on my needles for over a year. This was a secret test knit because this is one of the patterns in Sari Nordland's book, and the book name is escaping my head. I do not have it. I was part of the test group for this sweater, but when you test knit for Sari Nordland, especially for her sweaters, she doesn't actually require you to finish the full garment. She requires you to do the yoke, a sleeve, and the collar. And so I have the yoke, a sleeve, and a collar, and I am working to finish the body, and I'm working to finish, well, I haven't started the sleeve, but once I finish the sleeve, or once I finish the body, I will finish the second sleeve and it'll be ready to go. This is a project that sometimes I am intimidated to work on because it is so much going on. But as soon as I sit down and work on it, I'm like, oh, you know what? This actually, and I apologize if my necklace is doing funny things in the camera. Maybe I will tuck it away. Oh, but I like the way it looks. We'll just deal with it. This sweater looks intimidating, and it is intimidating, and it's not necessarily easy to get into a flow because of the cables that are constantly changing throughout it. But the cables are less intimidating than I thought they were. I know in my frog it or finish video, I was like, past page, I hope you, well, past page, I thought past page didn't actually leave a note as to where to pick up and continue on, but past page did. Thank you. And I'm really grateful that I did because I double checked. I went back and like read my stitches and made sure that I was where like my little dot was, and it was correct. And so I picked up and I knitted from there. I've done like half of one of the repeats, which is quite a comprehensive charted repeat. I don't know it off the top of my head yet because I haven't been working on it consistently. but there's patterns to it where I don't necessarily have to think, and it's easy for me to know what to do. I just don't necessarily, I double check the charts. And I have downloaded Knit Companion, but I haven't used it yet. So maybe next time I will give you a little feedback on how that is going. But I am really in love with this sweater. I tried it on. I don't know if I took a picture of it, but if I did take a picture of it, here it is. And it's getting to a point where it's not like uber cropped. I mean, it's still very cropped, but I am planning on not knitting this to be a full length sweater. I want it to kind of hit at like my hips, like kind of like where this t-shirt lands is kind of the length that I would like to knit this sweater. And so I actually don't have that much more to go until I get to that point, which is really exciting. And then the sleeves, like I remember knitting this sleeve because the repeat is only on the front of the sleeve and it's not on the back. You have the double seam stitch with this like faux seam that's really, really beautiful. I honestly, I forgot that detail was there until I just flipped it over and I was like, oh my gosh, yes, beautiful. But you have this faux seam down the middle that's really gorgeous of the underarm. You have the beautiful cable stitches. I am excited to watch this grow. I've steam blocked it like a smidge. I didn't do like the most thorough comprehensive job with it, but I did steam block it. And I did open up the cables a bit, but I know like a full proper wet block with a wool wash will be so lovely. And yeah, I've been really enjoying working on this. I haven't worked on it every day, just because like some days I just wanted something mindless while I like did something or listened to a podcast and wanted like my attention to be like on the audiobook or podcast that I was listening to. But it has been fun to work on it again. I know where I am in terms of the chart. I just think this is going to be a really beautiful piece that I'm going to be so proud to wear. And I'm also it's going to feel so good to finish it. I went and checked out a local yarn shop, Fia or Fia Yarns here in Halifax. And it was such a cute little shop. The shop owner and I had this little conversation like about how rewarding it is to finish like a long-term whip. And sometimes how it's like, it's fun to pick like an overbearing project that takes a lot of time and dedication to finish because you finish it and you're just so proud of that piece. And I don't know, if I think back to like the projects that I have finished, I don't necessarily know that I have that project done yet, but two of the projects I'm going to show you today, one of them being this Aoide sweater, are projects that I'm like, this is going to be like that workhorse labor of love sweater that I'm going to have for forever and cherish. And I think it's going to get so much wear out of it. So one of the options for the sweater is that you could hold it with like a sport and a, a mohair, but I didn't want to do that. And so I am holding, the sweater is with Eco Shetland or worsted weight by Estelle Yarns, and it is in 100% organic Shetland wool. I am knitting it in the colorway Frost, which I went on like a kick last year with this colorway. I think it's really lovely. I think it has like some wearability all year round. Like to me on like a cool summer night here at the beach, I think this could be like a really beautiful sweater to wear. Like after you like, I don't know, the Atlantic Ocean is really cold depending on which beach you go to and whether or not you're in like a cove. But I went to one beach, went to Crystal Crescent Beach, hopped in, and it was like immediate brain freeze and I was shivering the whole rest of the night. And it was like, wow, I wish I had a wool sweater to throw on after that to help keep me warm. And so this is a sweater, that I think would be really lovely for like a moment like that because it is just knit in 100% wool. I picked this yarn up at my old local yarn shop when I lived in Kingston called Pearl and Jay's. I don't know how much it goes for at the rate currently, but a couple of years, I guess last year when I bought it, it was like $14 a ball, and I'm gonna use 4 or 5 balls. So like this is honestly quite an affordable sweater. These prices are in Canadian dollars, so like 75 bucks for a 100% wool sweater, organic Shetland wool. I find that I don't have a huge sensitivity to wool, and so I think, yeah, I can wear this as a top. I'm excited to style it come this fall and winter as I wear it to teach. I think that it'll be able to dress up like a pair of pants really nicely just because it is such an elaborate and gorgeous sweater. And it'll be a statement piece that like speaks for itself. I think it would look really cute with like some layered necklaces on top. Yeah, I'm really excited to have this done and to be having it back in rotation, because honestly, every time I look at it, I am so in love with the sweater, and it just makes me want to finish it, as well as want to take on a few more complicated knits, because I am honestly such a big fan of the finished product and the process once I actually start. Like, sometimes I feel like it's going for a run. And for those of you that don't know, I'm like a fairly competitive runner. I ran varsity track and field in university. I've coached, and now I'm kind of on that like semi-elite level of running where like I can get free entry into races, I win local races and that sort of thing, but I'm not like pro. But on the lines of that, like I feel like textured knits that are like comprehensive and involved are like going for a run when you don't want to go. And it's like, once you start and you like get over that mind barrier to just get out the door, it is so fun and rewarding. And that is how I feel like the sweaters. It's like the run that I don't want to go on, but I'm always so grateful that I do go on. It's like picking up and referencing the chart and knitting a few rounds of this is like, wow, I didn't think I needed that, but I did need that. And so this is the Aoide sweater. It's by Sari Nordlund. It was a test knit. It is going to be done at some point this year. I have this, I don't know, I feel like I have goals and I sometimes struggle to commit to them, especially when it comes to knitting, because I don't know, I like sit down and I get super excited, and then life comes and like things happen, or like new projects come up, or like different things catch my eye. But I would really like to work on clearing my needles, hence making that Froggator finish video and just trying to get through some of these projects that have been on my needles for a long time. And I feel like some of the projects I'm going to show you today are ones that I am excited to get off my needles. I'm excited to have them in my wardrobe, and looking ahead at the fall, there's some projects that are long-standing whips that I'm excited to have done. And I think they'll fit nicely in my wardrobe and in my like aesthetic of what I like to wear. But this is my first whip. Okay, the second whip I have is a new cast on. It is a sponsored yarn, so like ad, gifted, whatever you're supposed to say. But this is the Norma Sweater by My Favorite Things Knitwear. If you have watched my planning videos, you will have seen that I was obsessed with this sweater design. I think it is so lovely. Okay, so I just went and checked just to make sure I have the right language. But this is from Hobby's Summer Palette Escapes campaign. And so they gave you like a few different options to pick a color palette for like a different beach or a different summer getaway. So there's like mountains, tropics. I did like the coastal beach vibe because I'm a new coastal beach girly, living here on the East Coast. And so I picked enough yarn in a color palette where, you know, the actual brown color I believe is called Sand or Dune. Let me double check. It is a color number, but I believe it's called Sand or Dune, and I'll put the colors down below. But I'm using extra fine merino, which is a 100% superwash wool that's like a sport weight yarn by Hobby, held together with their Friends Kid Silk, which is 72% mohair, 25% silk, and 5% wool. Honestly, the combination is so soft. I've only like washed and blocked the swatch, but this is knitting up really lovely. I did go down a needle size on the ribbing just because I find my ribbing never looks super neat. And so if I go down a needle size from the recommended needle size, it's kind of a hack for me to get it to look neat and lovely. And then I'm holding it in, I believe, Arctic Blue and Midnight Blue as my contrast colors for the stripes that remind me of just like the beach and the sea. And I don't know, I think it's going to be really nice to wear. It's in oversized raglan construction. It's been really fun to knit. I'm just at the point where I have to do another round of the color work, and I want to just like sit down and like get it done all in one shot, just because I have been breaking my yarn as I go, just so that it is a bit more transportable for when I'm only working the beige. I just find it's easier to only manage one ball than to, when I have there's actually 6 balls that would be attached. I just pulled off a stitch. There'd be 6 balls attached if I didn't break the yarn, where right now there's 2. And it's just a lot of yarn that can easily get tangled, and I prefer to spend my time knitting and not detangling yarn. So that has been my decision for this. It's a slow and steady project. It's woolen mohair, and it's August 1st when I'm filming this. It's hot, it's humid, it's fun to work on like in the cool evenings, but for the most part I haven't fully been knitting on it. But it is my like little coastal sweater, and I'm really happy with the color choices. I know at like the start of the year I was like, I have all these options and I don't know what to do, and I think this one is like really resonating with me, and I think it will be this like timeless classic piece that I'm really excited to wear and have in my wardrobe. And I think it could be, for me, blues are like the color that I go to all the time, and so I think this will be a nice piece to transition from summer to fall and kind of give me that like coastal like granddaughter aesthetic that was like really in last year, but I'm still drawn to a lot of like the flowy whites and blues and navies and things like that. And I think like I have a whole bunch of navy skirts and navy bottoms, navy skirts in different lengths that I think will pair well with this for those fall, winter kind of styles as we transition out of summer, which is crazy to think about. Like there's still a full month and a bit of summer weather, but like I feel like as knitters we're always like half a season ahead, because a lot of these summer knits that I will show you for the next 2, I guess next 3, are not like, I'm not gonna have a lot of summertime to wear them. And so this is kind of like that like early fall summer kind of palette, beach, coastal, beachy, you know, oceany vibe that'll transition me into fall just based on the fiber content of the piece. Okay, the next whip that I have is a long-standing whip. This is one that I've really been enjoying working on it recently. It's my mind list. It is my mind list project. And this is the Nata Dress by IODA Knitwear. This dress is so gorgeous. I have loved every single version that I've seen on Instagram, on YouTube. It's just a very classic, elegant design. And so I'm holding it in the recommended yarn-ish. So I'm holding Isager Maryland, and I'm holding it with Trio 1, but the recommended pattern has you hold it with Maryland and Trio 2 or Trio 1 held double. Trio 1 and Trio 2 are expensive yarns, and so I want to experiment with holding just the Maryland and 1 strand of the Trio 1, just for a bit of, A, it'll be like a lighter fabric, and B, it's more cost effective. And I love the way that it works up. I'm excited to wash it because the swatch turns out really soft. This is still really nice. Maryland, hence the name Mary Lynn, is a combination of merino and linen, and so it is this lovely summer fiber brown. I don't know, those twins who knit were saying like Sabrina Carpenter and the song Espresso, which somehow just escaped my head. I was gonna sing you a line from it. Need espresso. That song, hence, I mean, I'm wearing brown right now as well. But I feel like this will be a really lovely dress, again, that I can maybe get some cool summer nights in, depending on when I finish it. It is now like at an appropriate dress length. I have yet to do the nubble knit. The nubble knit. I have yet to do the double knit, whatchamacallit, trim on the armband and like the neck back area. I should start it sooner than later, because one of my like things is I really don't like doing the finishing touches. And it's really nice. Like this sweater, the fact that I already have the collar done and that I can just cast off the body and the sleeve is gonna be really lovely. So I know I want to pick up and start doing the double knit band on this dress at some point. I just haven't found that point yet. But yeah, I also want to knit this to be like a midi / maxi length, and right now it hits like just above my knee. I do think I took a video of me wearing it, question mark. If I did, here it is. If I didn't, sorry, you'll see it when it's done. But yeah, this has just been a fun project to work on. It's my stockinette project. I have a couple stockinette projects as you'll see, but this is one where like I have so much knitting to do. It's so easy just to pick up my little Koigu bag with my little sheepies and like go to the park, go to a coffee shop. I would knit and like read some of the projects and like papers that I was marking for the course I was teaching this summer, just for some mindless something to do with my hands. I've really been enjoying it. I think it's going to be so lovely to wear as a dress. I just know I have to start doing the double knit band. And again, I just haven't prioritized that. So yeah, we'll see when that gets done. But this has just been a nice kind of easy project to bring and to have with me. And I think it's, again, going to be this timeless, lovely dress. I did do, as you can see, I did like a low back version, which I think is going to be stunning to wear in the summer. And depending on the weather for teaching and like what my course load looks like that day, I think I can get away with wearing like a little top over top of it, so I don't have to like have that low back. But we'll see what happens. Or like wearing like a cute long sleeve shirt underneath of it and doing a little layering piece could also be fun to do for the winter fall days. Excited to style this, excited to have just like a nice basic brown dress. I have like a gray store-bought dress that's kind of similar to this, but it does have a higher back that I wear all the time. I find it so wearable and so easy to just throw on, like take Luna for a walk, go out and about. But overall, so pleased with it, and it's been, yeah, just like a nice mindless piece to work on this summer. And this is like another one. It's been on my needles since like last September, and I've worked on it intermittently throughout. But this is like that labor of love project that I know it'll be so nice to have off my needles. I'll probably do a double knit armband sooner than later. Maybe this next week or this weekend I'll cast that on, just to get it started and to kind of alternate between the double knit and the body, because I still have probably like, I don't know, 20-30 centimeters of dress to knit in terms of length, and then I have the finishing touches before it's done. But 20 to 30 centimeters of stockinette does go by really quickly when you kind of pick it up and do it whenever. So yeah, that's my Nata dress. It's coming along. It's looking like a dress and less like a tank top, so that's exciting. You'll see with these next pieces, I guess most of my pieces, I'm having like a little color story moment for brown, which I'm okay with. I'm gonna show you this next piece because it has been another project that I've had on my needles for a while, and it's getting really close to being done. This is my Vienna blouse. And this is a modified pattern that I've been working on. The original Vienna blouse is by Sandnes Garn, and it is a pattern. The original pattern, I actually have the book right here, so I'll show you. The original pattern of this blouse is a double-stranded mohair, full-length cardigan, tie front cardigan. It is gorgeous. But I have been really interested and really like the aesthetic of these kind of trendy tie front tops with the little peplum. And so I posted on my Instagram a while back, which if you'd like to see like a few more frequent updates and kind of me doing some fun, silly things like dancing in my knits, you can follow me along at the knitting page on Instagram. Totally up to you. But I posted and being like, does anyone have any knit designs for these blousey tops? And a whole bunch of people were like, the Vienna Blouse by Sandnes Garn. And so I ordered the booklet from True North Yarn Co., which is a yarn shop based in Barrie, Ontario. And I had it and I was kind of like, I want to knit this at some point, but I don't know what yarn I want to use. Do I want to commit to like a double-stranded piece? Do I want it to be long sleeve? Do I want to do this, that, whatever? And then I was at my old local yarn shop, Yarn It, in Cobourg, Ontario, and they had this yarn, which is Noro Sonata, which is, I think, a silk, linen, merino, and polyamide blend, I want to say. Actually, there might not be any merino in it. Anyways, I'll put the color composition, the fiber composition down below, because I know I messed it up. But I have been working up the Vienna Blouse in Norma Sweater, which is the sport weight yarn. It's like variegated tonal-ish. It's a striking yarn. It is so drapey. It is so dreamy. I think it's gonna make an absolutely beautiful top. The one thing that I really do love about the Vienna Blouse is that it's super versatile. And so here's a spread. I've shown it multiple times before, but you can wear it backwards or you can wear it forwards, depending on if you want the ties at the front or the ties at the back, which to me was super appealing, because maybe the tie front top will, you know, it's in for this year, maybe next year, and then it's like, okay, now that's out, but there's still that option to wear it without the ties in the front and have it be that nice little detail in the back, and or just wanting to wear it that way. The other thing, and I've talked about it before, that I wasn't really looking forward to was doing all of the knitting back and forth for the peplum, because you double your stitches essentially. And I've done back and forth knitting with a lot of stitches when I did the ruffle cardigan as a test knit for Nata, and it was a beast, and I wasn't looking forward to doing that. But I was at H&M, I saw a top of this style that had the joint peplum, and so it wasn't a full tie front blouse. It had tie fronts and then it joined around. It was a sewn top. And I thought that is something I could do with this piece. And so that is what I've done. I currently have the peplum on hold just because I don't know how long I wanted the sleeves, and I'm trying to finish other things and be able to try the top on and adjust the peplum length as I want. And so I'm holding off so that I can finish everything else and then make that final decision there. Right now it is at a length that I think is acceptable. I have this much yarn left, and so it's like, okay, finish the sleeves, finish the I-cord ties, and then knit the peplum. And so I also, oh, sorry, I got a fluff. I also wasn't sure whether or not I was going to commit to the full length sleeves or I was going to do a t-shirt. I'm going to do a t-shirt. I'm not done the first sleeve yet. I'm still trying to figure out that length. I haven't actually tried this on yet. I did do the I-cord outline of the loop. And so next up, I'm going to finish this sleeve, work the second sleeve, and then I will do the I-cord ties and like neckband part, and then finish up with the I-cords down the front. And so I'm gonna do three. I'm gonna do you like knit a whole bunch of I-cord, then you pick up stitches around, then you knit the rest of the I-cord for the top tie. And then I think I'm going to do measure this and then divide it by 3 and put the other ties 1/3 of the way and 2/3 of the way down. And so I'll have 3 ties at the front. I am going to do a double folded down cuff for the sleeves and a double folded down cuff for the peplum, so that it's really seamless and has that nice clean finish. I debated about doing an I-cord, but I think I really like just like the smooth clean finish. It's in like the original one as well, and I think it just looks really sleek and classy. So this top I think will be done in the next little bit. I mean, the sleeves work up so quickly. I haven't really knitted on them a whole lot because, well, the peplum takes a long time to knit around because there's just so many stitches. And so it's like, okay, finish up the sleeves, work the I-cords, which I think will be fun to knit, and then finish off that peplum. And then I'll have a nice little summer top that I will hopefully get some wear out of this August. I'm hoping I can finish it before I go visit my family in Ontario next week, just so that I can have it as like a little top, and I think it will look cute with like jean shorts, and like I thrifted some navy skirts, and I think it'll just be like a nice wearable piece. And I haven't finished a piece in a while, and so I am looking forward to having this one done and being able to wear it and kind of like, I know like lots of podcasters, Instagrammers, whatever, when it comes to knitting have talked about like, you know, like following trends and like not following trends and knitting these like timeless classic pieces. I am obsessed with like the high front, blousey, oversized peplum. Like they're like femme, but they're also like not super feminine in terms of like they're oversized, but they have these like girly little details on them, where it's not like femme, sexy femme, where it's like a corset top or anything like that. And so I'm really, really drawn to like that style, and it feels quite like Scandinavian in terms of fashion. And I think it will like, I'm trying to experiment more with, I felt like before I always had to wear something like tight and something loose, depending on whether it was like a tight top and then a looser bottom, such as like what I'm doing today, where I have like a fitted tee and I have like a flowy skirt, or maybe I would have like an oversized top and then like, or big sweater and like leggings, or a pair of like kind of fitted jeans, not like the super, super skinny jeans, but like a nice like fitted jean that's not like one of the oversized baggy swaggy styles. But I have been experimenting and like following people on Instagram and seeing things on Pinterest where it's like a baggy on baggy look. And for me, it takes like a little bit of confidence to go outside and wear that and to like experiment in that realm, just because I'm so used to being like fitted, loose, loose, fitted, 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 loose, loose, like, or I'm not used to fitted, fitted, loose, loose, fitted, fitted in terms of like athleisure and like athletic wear. But I'm really not used to like loose, loose, unless it's like a sweatsuit. And to me, it's like, that's like a very casual thing, but I think you can look dressed up and professional while wearing baggy on baggy. And that's something that I want to like experiment with, just because I do really like other creators that kind of showcase that side of fashion. And I think this top could be a really lovely way to have that like baggy, oversized top feel, without it being a sweater. It's a sport weight. I'm knitting it on 3.5 millimeter needles, and so it's not super chunky. I knit the Hortensia tee for Garnos like last year as a test knit, and it is super oversized, but it's knit on 6 millimeter needles, I believe, I used Drops Paris, which is like an Aran weight 100% cotton yarn. It's a great t-shirt. I haven't worn it as much as I thought I would, just because it is so thick and heavy, where I feel like this one, because it is at a tighter, lighter gauge with smaller needles and a lighter yarn, I think it's gonna have that drape that I'm looking for in a knit t-shirt, as well as the oversized look, and like that little bit of feminine detail with the peplum that makes it a little more girly and less oversized boxy than like some of the cotton tees or whatever that I have and I've worn before. I'm getting tangled up in my mohair from my Norma sweater. So let me this is what I mean, where I don't want to spend time detangling my yarn, but sometimes that's how it ought to be, is you got to detangle the yarn. Okay, I am free. Anyways, yeah, this is my Vienna blouse. I think it will be done sooner than later, and I will, if you want to see it, I would suggest following me on Instagram, just because I tend to post a little more frequently on there than I do here on YouTube. But this is my 4th whip, and I have one more whip. And the last whip I have is also in acquisition. When I did my Frog Gutter finish video, there was a few people that were like, you know, pick one summer top, because I made a reflection during that video, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna have, like, I want to knit these summer projects, but I don't know if I'm going to, just based on like, I have so many whips that I want to finish, and I should just like sit down and prioritize that. And there was a lot of people that were like, you know, knit what you want, you know, work on some projects, cast on one summer project. And so I finished teaching an online geography course last Friday, and I was like, you know what, I am really wanting to knit the Solar Tube Top by IODA Knitwear. I am a huge tube top girly. I love them. I find them so easy to wear. And I'm wearing a brown top, but I don't actually have like a brown tube top. And so I was like, I had some Knitting for Olive pure silk in the color Cognac in my stash, and was like, I think this could be really great for the Solar Tube Top. It uses like a DK weight yarn. If I hold it double, it's DK. Let's see if I can create and go to this shop, a new local yarn shop, I know they sold Knitting for Olive. Let's see like what pure silk colors they have in stash, and let's see if I can create a color story that I like that's fitting this like brown color aesthetic. The tube top is super cute. It's stripy, and it's been really fun to knit. It's all stockinette. There's no straps or anything to do, and so I think it'll be a quick project to finish. And so I have started it. I cast it on. Let me pick up the one stitch that just dropped. And so here is my tube top. And so you can see I went for, I was talking to the shop owner and I was like, you know, do I go a bit more high contrast, and do I go with like a lighter brown, or do I stick with kind of these more medium browns where I have like the warm cognac and I believe this is the color Haze, I think, which is more of like a cool brown. And I'm also holding it with the color Brown Bear. And so I have this nice, like almost black brown, this like cool brown and this warm brown. And I'm working it up in these stripes. And it's quite subtle aside from the Brown Bear. I think it'll be super cute to wear. I've been loving knitting it up. Knitting stripes and making sure there's like not holes and that there's no jogs is something that's like kind of new for me. And so that was kind of fun to like watch a YouTube video and learn how to do that. And it's honestly, it's knit up so quickly. Like this is like 2 days, like 2 sessions of knitting of what this top is. I need to go get, because it's a tube top and it's made of a plant fiber yarn. There is elastic in the tube top for under your bust and above your bust, just to give you that shape and security that you would want in a tube top. And so I have to still go to the store and pick up some elastics that I can do that, and I'm getting fairly close to the under bust steps to add the elastic in. Sorry, I mean, if you've worked with pure silk, you'll know that it's like kind of splitty, and that can kind of be me. But yeah, I have been working it up. I've been really enjoying it. I think I'm gonna have like enough leftovers to potentially make another one. And I do have the color Powder in my stash in pure silk. And there's part of me that wants to knit the Claire vest in that and just have like a nice basic. And then use the leftovers of all of these to do another tube top, depending on how much wear I get out of it, and maybe use the powder that's like that lighter brown color as like a main color. But knit a stripy top with the leftover browns at some point, whether it's this tube top or whether it's a tank top, just because I don't know, I really like stripes in my everyday life. I think they are super cute and lovely, and I love this tube top pattern. Every version I've seen is like absolutely stunning. I think this will be the first top project that I finished in pure silk, and so I think that will be nice to have, to get that experience. It was nice to like only buy 2 balls of yarn, and like I'm trying not to buy any more yarn, but I did really want to knit this top, and I didn't have enough in my stash to knit it. And so went to the local store, like met the lovely shop owner there, like had a really lovely experience. And I think that was fun, awesome. And it's knitting up super quickly, and I think it'll be a nice finished top sooner than later. I am so excited to style it. It kind of is giving me like rustic cowboy type of vibes. Anyways, I'm actually wearing cowboy boots right now, and to me, I just see this like, even like the skirt I'm wearing, this top and cowboy boots, and like subbing out the brown t-shirt, I think will be such a cute little fit that I really want to wear. And so I think I'm going to try to finish this top and the Vienna blouse in the next little bit to get them off the needles, because they're the closest ones to like being fully done. And then I might introduce the Talia cardigan for my Frog At Her Finish video, is kind of like where I'm at next, just because that just needs a couple more touches as well for it to be done. It's a summer fiber. It's been on my needles for a long time. But I don't know, I don't like bringing it all in at once. I honestly like having like 2 or 3 whips on the go, because I just feel like I actually finish something, where right now I feel like I want to work on everything, which means nothing is actually getting done, which is fine. It just means that like they'll all get done at the same time-ish, or like not at the same time, and just slowly over time, but they'll all be making significant leaps and bounds in terms of progress. Like had I just picked one project to work on, I would have a finished object to show you this video, but I didn't, and I think that's also okay. And like I'm leaning into like what feels right, and like trying to be creative, trying to prioritize projects I already have, trying to like work and like build this channel and like take on sponsorships and like kind of figure out this whole like YouTube content creator side of things. And it's a learning curve, and it's my journey, and I've been having so much fun with it, despite not posting as much as I would have liked to the past little bit, just because life has been so busy. But I'm loving life here. I am racing a race on Monday, and I'm experiment. I was doing like these like knit into the week videos with me, where I would sit and knit on a project and I'd talk to you for like 10 minutes, and it was like very low edit, low effort, but it was a nice way just to like sit, hold myself accountable to knit on something, and share a bit about myself that wasn't necessarily just about what I was working on. And so I think I might sit down and do one of those for Monday, all about like my summer racing and where running is in my life, because running is a huge part of myself. And I'm a multifaceted person, and I love knitting, but I also do love a lot of other things. And I kind of want to share that with the world of my other projects and passions, such as running. And so you can make your decisions on whether you stay and you watch that, or whether, you know, you don't want to watch me talk about running. But I think I'm more than just knitting, which I really love, and I think that there's a place on the internet to share all of that under one account, and I don't have to go and be the running page and the knitting page and do all these things like I've tried to do in the past, and I can just be the knitting page with a side of running. And I know there's a few of you that like to run and have shared that with me, and that's so wonderful. But I have some exciting things in the pipeline for my running, and honestly, knitting plays a huge role in my running through just like being a nice thing to do and recover, and not be an exercise bunny like I've done in the past. So yeah, I think I want to experiment again with those knit into the week videos. And so hopefully you'll see one on Monday. I'm hoping to have also like a pretty quick edit time for this. The knit into the week video may come out before this, just because it's going to involve less editing. So we shall see. But until next time, goodbye. I won't sing. I'll just say normally as well. But thank you for tuning in. And I'll also just say, like, if you are not subscribed and you do like what you see, it would mean a lot to me if you subscribed, as you can keep tuning in to the knitting page. That's all for now. See ya.